Now consider application part of moving coil galvanometer. Already in last lecture we consider principle, construction and working of a galvanometer. We know that there are two types of galvanometer. A galvanometer in which magnet is moving and coil is fixed. It is called as a moving magnet galvanometer or tangent galvanometer, which is not the part of our syllabus. Second one, a galvanometer in which magnet is fixed but coil is moving, is called as a moving coil galvanometer, and which is the part of our syllabus. Now this moving coil galvanometer, generally it is represented with a circle, and these are the two lines. Generally this is the arrow shown for deflection, and we know that in construction it consists of a coil. Coil is there means wire is there, and wire is there means it has certain resistance, and that resistance generally denoted with letter capital G. Always remember, resistance of galvanometer, generally resistance we are taking symbol R. But as it is resistance of galvanometer, we are using initial letter capital G for the resistance of galvanometer. Now what is principle of galvanometer? It works on the principle that Ig proportional to theta. Means current flowing through galvanometer is directly proportional to angle of deflection. If deflection exists, current exists. No deflection, no current. Now, due to this advantageous point, due to this principle, this galvanometer can be used to detect current in a circuit. And second application, even we can measure small amount of current. How to measure? Actually in working, which is not the part of your syllabus, there is a formula: current flowing through the coil of galvanometer is equal to certain constant into angle of deflection. Now this constant is called as a constant of MCG, moving coil galvanometer, will be provided along with that device, don't worry. So by noting deflection, how much deflection is there, by means of calculation method we can calculate current. But current measured using galvanometer directly, yes, it is not a correct value. It is always a wrong value. Number two, large current cannot be measured. Because if we try to measure large current, its coil, thin copper wire is there, so it is highly delicate. If large current flows through it, we know that heat produced, it is directly proportional to square of current. If large current is allowed to pass through it, more amount of heat will be produced, and then that coil will burn. And that's why generally galvanometer is not directly used to measure current. If we use, listen me, this is a circuit in which suppose this current is to be measured. According to Ohm's law, we know that current is equal to, yes, voltage divided by resistance. Am I right? So voltage can be measured using voltmeter. This resistance, if it is known, this ratio gives the current, whatever it may be. So by means of Ohm's law, by means of calculation method, we can calculate current. But if we use galvanometer to measure current, it is always connected in series. Suppose now this is galvanometer under consideration, which is used to measure current. When this galvanometer is used, it always connected in series, so that entire current will flow through it and we can measure it. But as soon as galvanometer is introduced, yes, this current to be measured, it will be reduced. Why reduce? See here, already R is there. When galvanometer is introduced, it also has certain resistance, so total resistance become R plus G. But voltage remains same because we are not going to change source, and hence, yes, current will be I dash V upon R plus G. Means here I dash 100% will be less than I. Means when this device is used, only I dash current will flow, and that I dash current we can calculate using formula K into theta. Yes, deflection we can note, constant of galvanometer is known. So I dash is less than I, means we are interested to measure this current, and we are measuring I dash which is less than I. This is the limitation of galvanometer. If we use galvanometer, it always shows less reading or wrong reading. Correct current cannot be measured. Now you tell me, is it possible to measure correct current? Yes. Is it possible to get I dash equal to I? Yes. Where it is possible? Numerators are same here. If denominator becomes same, then it is possible. Now denominator here it is R, here it is R plus something. So if we reduce the G approximately equal to 0, or when the G is very close to 0, in that case denominator will be also same, V by R, V by R. In that case I dash will be equal to I, and we can measure exact value of current. So is it possible to reduce the G? Yes. And there is one arrangement by which resistance of this galvanometer is made very small, almost 0, and such an arrangement is called as a shunting. What do you mean by shunting? Connecting a wire of small resistance in parallel with galvanometer. Internally across that coil, rectangular coil which we discussed in construction, a wire of small resistance is connected in parallel, and that wire of small resistance is called as a shunt, S-H-U-N-T, shunt. It is denoted with symbol S. Now how to decide that value, shunt value? Means we have to measure, suppose, maximum current I ampere. So how much shunt should be there so as to measure that electric current correctly? So let us obtain formula first of all to convert given MCG into an ammeter. In order to convert given MCG into an ammeter, we are going to obtain formula for shunt resistance necessary. You just imagine this is given galvanometer under consideration of resistance capital G. Now these are the two terminals. Now across this, means in parallel with this galvanometer, you just imagine this is a wire of small resistance called as a shunt. Now suppose A and B, these are the two terminals of this resultant device. Now this, after connecting this shunt, means wire of small resistance in parallel with galvanometer, this entire arrangement is called as an ammeter. Now listen me. If total current I ampere is to be measured, listen me carefully. If total current I ampere is to be measured, this total current at this junction, it is divided into two branches. Some current Ig flows through galvanometer and some current flows through the shunt. So this current is bypass. It is divided in two paths. Again this Ig and Is combined together and total current is given out of this circuit. So entire circuit I am not showing. You just imagine there is a battery. So positive terminal, certain current is drawn. This is received at this junction. Some part Ig flows through galvanometer, Is flows through shunt. Now again these two current combined together and total current is given to again negative terminal of that circuit. Now here these two are in parallel. So what is law of parallel combination? Yes, tell me. Voltage across both component will be same. Means voltage across galvanometer is exactly equal to voltage across shunt, because they are connected between two common points. Already in 11th standard we discussed this law of parallel combination. Voltages for parallel combination are always same. If Vg is equal to Vs, according to Ohm's law we can write Vg is equal to Ig into capital G. Like that Vs we can write, yes, tell me, Is into S, Is be the current flowing through it. Now this is equation number, or from this equation we can write shunt is equal to, yes, Ig into capital G upon Is. Suppose equation number first. But as per Kirchhoff's current law, for this junction or for this point, sum of incoming current equal to sum of outgoing current. Incoming current is only I, outgoing currents are two current, that is Ig and Is. So we can write here I is equal to Ig plus Is. If we replace now Is as I minus Ig, yes, what will be formula? Simply from this equation 2, replace Is over here and get formula for shunt necessary. S is equal to Ig into capital G upon I minus Ig. Very, very important formula. Listen me carefully. Yes, shunt necessary to convert given galvanometer of resistance G. Here Ig is called as a full scale deflection current. Means no doubt it is a small value, but at least it shows the complete deflection on that circular scale. So given galvanometer of resistance G having full scale deflection current Ig, to measure maximum current of I ampere, shunt required, it is given by formula number 3. So S is equal to Ig into capital G upon I minus Ig. Problem solving point of view, this is very, very important. Now see here, by connecting shunt, what is the advantage? Yes, shunt is very small, and we know that according to Ohm's law, current is inversely proportional to resistance. As shunt resistance is very small, current is very large. Means, what it means? Is, current through shunt is very high as compared to Ig. Means, we are interested to measure total current I ampere. But out of that, major current, it is bypassed through this bypass circuit called as a shunt circuit. So, current passing through that galvanometer, it is very, very small, and hence it will not be damaged. So this limitation is overcome now. Now any large value of current can be measured by means of this modification, and such a modified galvanometer itself is called as an ammeter. Or ammeter is also defined as a low resistance galvanometer. Low resistance galvanometer. Always attempt is made to reduce the resistance of galvanometer so that very small amount of current flows through it. Now till small current flows, it shows the current I, because it is on proportionality basis. I is proportional to theta. How much current is flowing through galvanometer, that doesn't matter. Always it on that circular scale it shows the total current I ampere. For example, if total current 10 ampere is to be measured, only 1 ampere is passed through galvanometer, 9 ampere through this shunt. Now when suppose 5 ampere current is to be measured, yes, only 0.5 ampere goes through this galvanometer, and here, yes, we can say that 9.5 ampere, sorry, 4.5 ampere it will pass through this shunt. So accordingly, this total current through that galvanometer will also change. But compare with shunt, very small current flows through galvanometer, and hence there will be no damage. In this way, yes, a given galvanometer can be converted into an ammeter. Now question may arrive for 3 marks in your board examination. Obtain an expression for shunt required to convert a given moving coil galvanometer into an ammeter. Now problem solving point of view, this is the important equation. Now remember 2 more equations. See here, I be the total current, out of which how much current flows through galvanometer? Only Ig. How much current flows through shunt? Is. If total current is 100%, out of that how much percentage of current flows through galvanometer? So to calculate that percentage, just remember formula Ig upon I, listen me, Ig upon I multiplied by 100. This is called as a fraction of current flowing through or percentage of current flowing through, yes, galvanometer. And to calculate this current, what is formula? S upon S plus G multiplied by 100. Listen me carefully. S upon S plus G into 100. This fraction multiplied by 100 always gives, yes, percentage of current flowing through galvanometer. Similarly, percentage of current through shunt, Is upon I multiplied by 100. Same formula almost. What is change only here? Capital G divided by S plus G. Denominator remains same, only numerator will change, multiplied by 100. So these are 2 more formulae, equation number 4 and equation number 5, to be remembered while solving numericals. This equation gives the percentage of current flowing through galvanometer and it gives the percentage of current flowing through shunt. No doubt both these formulae are obtained by means of this equation only. So this is about entire study related with conversion of, yes, galvanometer into an ammeter. Now when question arrive in your competitive exam, what is resistance of ideal ammeter? When word arrive ideal ammeter, it means that resistance of ideal ammeter must be 0. Resistance of ideal ammeter must be 0. Means very small value of resistance is connected in parallel, so that entire resistance it become almost 0. And for ideal ammeter 100% accuracy is there. But we know that ideal device remains ideal, it is never practical. For practical ammeter, there is small value of resistance and no doubt, hence 100% accuracy is not possible. 99.99% accurate current we can measure using ammeter. Now after connecting shunt, this device, instead of saying galvanometer, you have to use word as a ammeter. Now one more change is made here, that is very important. Just notice, after making this arrangement called as a shunting, to increase the range, means to measure large current, we know that in case of galvanometer central marking was 0. Now here central marking, instead of central, left side marking is provided as 0, and then these markings are provided up to the range of device. So this is one more change. When no current flows, pointer shows 0 deflection. Now due to 0th marking on the left side, compulsory 2 polarities are marked here, red and black. Red color terminal, it is positive terminal, while black color is nothing but negative terminal. So while connecting device, no doubt ammeter is always connected in series, but precaution to be taken, red terminal means positive terminal must be connected to positive, while black color terminal means negative terminal must be connected to negative. If this precaution is not taken, then torque will be acting in reverse direction, and to restrict this motion, one screw is there. If large torque is applied, this pointer may damage, and therefore always this precaution is to be taken. Why this arrangement is made? Just to increase the range of this device. So these are 2 modifications. To measure accurate current, galvanometer is shunted. Number 2, to increase the range of this device, yes, 0th marking is provided to the left side. Here no need of calculation. These calibrations are directly provided in terms of, yes, unit of current, and that is ampere. When the scale is calibrated in ampere, it is called as ammeter. When it is calibrated in milliampere, it is called as a milliammeter. When it is calibrated in microampere, it is called as a microammeter. So these are the different types of ammeter. Is it clear to you? Okay, thank you.